said crime can be influenced by poverty, but it's always caused by human behavior. Police are charged with controlling that behavior. How do they do it?
I think of myself in some respects as a police officer, a police chief, as very much like a surgeon in a trauma center. A person is brought in from a horrific accident, and while there are many others working on that person, there is one person really responsible for stabilizing, saving the life of that person. We can control behavior to such an extent that we change it, that we can make neighborhoods peaceful to the extent that all the other societal problems and influences that are out there are now better able to be dealt with when you don't have fear, when you don't have disorder, when you don't have crime.
What are the first things you do?
Well, you want to stabilize the patient. You want to find out, what do I need to do to basically save the life? If you think of cities in America in the late 1980s, many cities in America were effectively dying for a variety of reasons, but principally because of crime, and crime that was causing people to flee, leaving behind a population that was one of the most at-risk populations, the poor, the dispossessed, oftentimes our racial minorities. Fortunately, there was a new philosophy of policing that was being embraced by many police chiefs, myself included, that was the appropriate medicine to help stabilize the patient. And that medicine was community policing, with its emphasis on partnership. Police can't do it alone. You can't arrest your way out of the problem. And every neighborhood has a different set of priorities. And lastly, returning policing to its roots, its foundation, its founding roots, if you will. The idea that police exist primarily to prevent crime by our presence, by our influence. The creation of the first democratic police department, the British Bobby, was based on 9 principles of policing, first and foremost, which was the idea of the police, by their presence, their actions, their visibility, their role was to prevent crime. In the 70s and 80s in America, police were being told, focus your energies on responding to crime. There was a belief that crime was caused by things that were beyond the influence of the police, such as poverty, demographics, a lot of young people, the economy, race issues, ethnic issues, the weather, and we believe them. And anytime somebody excuses you from being responsible for something, human nature being what it is, you'll embrace it. Police chiefs embrace the idea they were being excused from preventing crime. One of the biggest mistakes that was ever made in the history of policing. Fortunately, in the 90s, we got it right and corrected that.
What help is needed to break the cycle?
Community policing, with its first emphasis on partnership. The park you talked about the litter, the glass, the decay, if you will, the sense that nobody cared, government, the residents who lived in that area. That's where government has the responsibility to be the catalyst to begin the process of change or addressing that issue. But what government has to do is, effectively, work with the partners, the community, the good people in that community, prioritize what problems do you want to address. What we neglected in the 70s and 80s, American policing, was that we neglected those weeds in the garden, those broken windows. But fortunately, particularly in this city, in New York, we got it right in the 90s. Understanding that you have to have zero tolerance, not only for major crime, that you don't condone it in any way, shape, or form. The majority of the people living in those neighborhoods, they want the same thing that everybody else wants anywhere. They want peace, tranquility, they want to raise their kids. They want to be able to feel safe, and they have an expectation that government will work with them to provide that.
How do good people come out?
There are, in every community, some brave people who are willing to step up in the face of great adversity, great threats to their lives, fear to them and their families. But that should not be the responsibility of the people living in that neighborhood, and that's where police have to be able to go in and find ways to effectively calm things down, that so more of the good people can step up, because they do outnumber, even in the worst neighborhoods, the bad people. So the way we did that in New York, and indeed did it more recently in Los Angeles, and it works, is the police will take on the tough job of taking on the bad guys. You have to do it compassionately, and you have to do it consistently, that you cannot police differently in rich neighborhoods from poor neighborhoods, white neighborhoods from black neighborhoods. Understandably, conditions may be different in those neighborhoods, but the idea is that, and this is a mantra I'm known for, you put cops on the dots. You identify where are the problems that are creating fear, disorder, and crime, and that's where you put your police.